First at 5. From the University of Florida's College of Journalism and Communications, you're watching WUFT News.
Two Alachua County women are behind bars, charged with leaving a pair of 5-year-old children in a shed without any food, water, or electricity. This is WFT's First at 5. I'm Avlonitis.
And I'm Radaysha Robinson. The sheriff's office says a concerned neighbor reported that the children were abandoned. Over the weekend, deputies say they responded to a shed near Northeast Highway 301 in Waldo. They found the children inside with a brick placed against the door. Witness identified 59-year-old Sabine Thrift and 37-year-old Tamara Storber. According to Storber, she left the children with Thrift to run an errand, but Thrift refused to supervise them. The woman is charged with child neglect and false imprisonment.
It's been a rainy Monday with showers and thunderstorms through the afternoon. Parts of northern Marion County have picked up as much as 2 inches of rain so far today, and more is on the way. And at the end of the week, a tropical system could be forming in the Gulf. UF forecaster Aiden Wacksman is in the weather center tracking the rain. Aiden, this week's rains could develop into the third named storm of the year.
They certainly could, and that storm would bring plenty of rain to areas that have already received a lot of rain. Just in the past 12 hours alone, you can see in northern Marion County about over 2 inches of rain in some areas, and even in southern Alachua County out in Micanopy, about over 1.5 inches of rain over the past 12 hours alone. So very rainy. Flash flooding is a risk, and flooding a risk in parts of Jacksonville as well. A flood warning in effect starting at 4 p.m. today, and flooding a problem there, and for much of the north central Florida area as well. Rain should continue into the rest of the night tonight, all the way into the late hours, early morning hours tomorrow too. Still rain is possible, so not like those storms that needed heat to feed off of earlier. Coming up, I'll let you know more about that potential tropical system that could develop later this week.
Controversy is growing surrounding a migrant detention center under construction in Florida Everglades. Protests erupted over the weekend, calling the center a modern-day concentration camp. President Trump is expected to make a visit on Tuesday. The Department of Homeland Security posted on social media an AI-generated meme that shows alligators representing immigration and customs enforcement agents outside the soon-to-be-built detention center. State leaders have dubbed the facility Alligator Alcatraz. The plan is to open the detention center next month. Opponents say building a facility like this cause environmental damage to the Everglades.
They're using sacred land for such a sinister and vile, end goal, which is not okay, right, in any sense of the word.
Supporters say housing migrants there will ensure no one escapes because the surrounding area is marshland full of crocodiles, alligators, and other wildlife. The facility will be able to house up to 5,000 detainees.
Governor Ron DeSantis has signed the 2025-26 state budget 1 day before the new fiscal year is set to begin. The more than $115 billion budget includes moves ranging from paying down state debt to giving most state employees raises, and would make sales tax breaks on back-to-school and hurricane preparedness items permanent. The governor signed the bill in Wildwood this morning. And sticking with state political news, a slew of Florida laws will take effect tomorrow. They cover everything from animal abuse to education, state parks, and boating. We've put a list of the more well-known laws on WFT.org. Just scan the QR code on your screen.
Gainesville Regional Utilities has stopped adding fluoride to its drinking water. In a statement, the company says the move came after Governor Ron DeSantis signed the Florida Farm Bill back in May. It requires public utilities to stop adding fluoride to water by July 1st. There is some natural fluoride in Florida's aquifer, so you can still expect some of the minerals within drinking standards in your water.
Ocala city leaders are getting ready to have a blast at their 4th of July event downtown. City leaders are shooting off fireworks at Tuscaloosa Park for their Patriotic Skies event Friday night. Last year's event featured a drone show, but leaders canceled their contract with the company who hosted it. A 7-year-old was taken to the hospital after a drone fell on him at one of the company's Orlando shows last year. City leaders say beyond safety concerns, the fireworks are cheaper and would draw more people in.
The cost was heavy. In addition, what happened in Orlando opened my eyes to maybe the technology's not fully ready yet.
The 18-minute long fireworks show cost around $30,000 to host. Last year's drone show cost $71,000.
An Ocala man survived a gunshot to his chest, all while being just a few feet away from the gun. Doctors say the necklace he was wearing blocked the bullet and may have helped save his life. Sanat Giro-Brigio has the story.
I look at it as a lifesaver.
A piece of his faith worn close to his heart.
I probably wouldn't be talking to you guys right now.
Is the reason why doctors believe Aiden Perry is still alive.
They said an inch above my heart. And then from there it hit the cross.
The 20-year-old says he was shot after his friend accidentally opened fire while showing off a gun. A full recovery will take some time, but Perry is in good spirits, thankful to share his story.
Even with a little bit of pain, I'm still here, so it's fine. I'm fine with that as long as I'm still here.
Trauma surgeons at HCA Florida Ocala Hospital say the golden cross on a chain that Perry was wearing around his neck blocked the bullet when he was standing about 10 feet from the gun.
One of the doctors said it's divine intervention.
Because of its metallic component, it actually shielded a lot of the force of the bullet. So the bullet ricocheted off the necklace and entered his chest wall. However, it was just in his fat tissues because it slowed down the trajectory of the bullet.
How much more different would it have been if he was not wearing that necklace?
It could have been way worse, entering his chest wall itself into the pleural space, which is the airspace around the lung between the bones, and injuring his lung itself or his heart.
So many emotions.
Aaron Perry gave his son the necklace last Christmas, never imagining the miracle it would bring.
I don't want to say it was just a gift, but you know, it came from the heart.
Because I think God played a big role in this. I think he's the reason I'm still here today.
The man accused of shooting Perry was arrested. He's charged with culpable negligence causing injury. Coming up next with First at 5 returns, the Senate facing a self-imposed deadline to pass the president's spending bill, why one Republican senator says he won't vote for it.
And the fate of Sean Diddy Combs is now in the hands of 12 New York jurors, why one lawyer says the charges against him are not black and white. We're back after the break.
You're watching WUFT-TV News.
This week, the Senate will deal with another marathon session on the president's spending bill. Over the weekend, Democrats forced a reading of the more than 900-page bill, a move that took more than 12 hours to complete. And as Vaughn Hilliard reports, there are also cracks within the Republican Party that could put this bill on life support.
The motion is agreed to.
As Senate Democrats try to slow down the process, offering amendment after amendment to President Trump's signature tax cuts and spending bill, Senate Republicans are still confident they will be successful.
It's a beautiful day for the big, beautiful bill. We're going to pass this thing.
Republicans can have only 3 members vote no and still pass the bill. Democrats are sharpening their attacks.
When Donald Trump says this bill won't cut Medicaid, he's lying. When he says this bill will grow the economy, he's lying.
The bill extends Trump's 2017 tax cuts, cuts Medicaid and food stamps, and increases spending for the military and border security. The nonpartisan Congressional Budget Office estimates it will increase the deficit by more than $3 trillion and cause more than 11 million people to lose their health insurance. That concerns at least one Senate Republican.
What do I tell 663,000 people in 2 years or 3 years when President Trump breaks his promise by pushing them off of Medicaid because the funding's not there?
The White House brushing off those projections.
Is that if we get 3% growth instead of 1.8% growth out of this bill, then that adds $4 trillion to revenue, which means that this thing is a big deficit reducer.
Several polls show the bill is unpopular with voters.
It is caviar over kids, hedge funds over health care, Mar-a-Lago over the middle class.
President Trump has been actively rallying lawmakers' support, leading many in his party to believe everyone will ultimately fall in line to pass the bill.
I mean, he's the closer.
The president wants the bill on his desk by July 4th. Vaughn Hilliard, NBC News, Washington.
A jury has begun deliberating the fate of music mogul Sean Diddy Combs. Closing arguments in his criminal trial wrapped up Friday. The 8 men and 4 women who will decide this case will elect a 4-person. Then they will have 1 laptop they can all use to review evidence and other elements of the case, and the ability to written notes ask the judge legal and procedural questions. Jurors have 7 weeks of testimony and evidence to comb through as Diddy awaits their verdict of conspiracy, racketeering, and sex trafficking charges.
The charges that Combs faces are very, very severe. In fact, some of the most severe under the law. There are a lot of different outcomes that could happen in this trial.
If he is found guilty of the most serious of the charges, the 55-year-old could spend the rest of his life in prison.
Coming up, we could see our 3rd named storm in the Atlantic Basin this season. I'll tell you everything you need to know after the break.
You're watching WUFT-TV News.
4th of July is coming up really soon, and I'm sure everybody at home is ready to see some fireworks.
Yeah, and if you're looking to see some fireworks, it might be a little rainy. But Aiden, what is happening here in North Central Florida?
The rain is definitely going to be coming down over the next couple of days, even into the next week. So if you do plan on watching fireworks, it might be a good idea to take that poncho and get that ready. All of this rain is being caused by this upper level low pressure system. It was in South Florida earlier today. Now it's moved off the coast just a little bit. What happens with this system is that all of the air around it, because of the pressure difference, rises. That's why we get those showers and thunderstorms that are popping up all across North Central Florida right now, and most of the state as well. You can see some of these popping up a little bit moving through Union County there, and you can see this cell here that actually ran out of juice. So right now just some showers moving along with it, but it actually triggered a flood warning in Jacksonville a little bit earlier. You can see some showers popping up off the coast of Levy County as well, in Dixie County, some heavy rains that have been sticking around there for a while, being caused by the Gulf of Mexico. Actually, it's generating moisture, these storms getting moisture from the Gulf of Mexico, so they have enough fuel to keep on going. And you can actually see some of the rain rates along the Gulf Coast. You can see in Cedar Key 3.5 inches of rain just in the past day alone. So it's been really rainy as of late. Gainesville, about 1 inch of rain over the past 24 hours as well. A flash flood risk actually applies to most of the Gulf Coast. You can see it. So that heavy rain in Cedar Key, you can see why this flash flood risk is here. It's because so much of the Gulf Coast could be seeing a lot of rains all the way into Citrus County as well. So in Dixie County too. Flooding definitely a risk, especially if you're in a low-lying area or area with poor drainage. Overhead on the campus of University of Florida, some clouds you can see staying a little bit cooler at 83 degrees. So we're escaping that really intense heat that we've been experiencing over the past couple of weeks. But in exchange, we're getting a lot of rain. 83 degrees here in Gainesville at the airport, 83 in Cedar Key. We're staying in the low to mid 80s generally, so those storms really helping to cool things off. You can see the possibility for some of these storms popping up along 95 for the rest of the evening. Maybe some storms popping up along 75 as well, probably just some showers before that chance picks up again along 95, even into the late evening hours. So in the afternoon, no longer the only risk for some of those storms, also into the late hours too. Along 75 again on Wednesday, another wave of those storms could generate some pretty heavy rain over the next couple of days. The area of tropical development we're looking at, you can see over here over Florida right now, could develop in the Gulf or the Atlantic, would be caused by this frontal system that's approaching the area right now. And you can see maybe a low pressure system developing here. About a 20% chance of development over the next week, so not a high chance, but definitely something to keep an eye on over the next couple of days as this front continues to move its way to our area. If you do plan on going to see some fireworks, again, poncho would be really, really useful because it'll be pretty rainy even into the later parts of the week, especially when that front comes through too, but staying cool, so at least the temperature will be nice if you go out there to see some of those fireworks. I'll have one final look at the weather coming up.
The Ocala Police Department is cracking down on motorcycle safety. It's working with the Florida Department of Transportation to enforce and educate motorcycle laws to reduce motorcycle crashes and injuries. Officers will be assigned to enforce these laws and locations throughout the city that affect rider safety the most. The operations will be in effect 24/7 until September.
We're staying much cooler than we usually are because of some of those showers and thunderstorms popping up, but those rain chances staying really, really high all the way into the end of the week. Some of those fireworks celebrations for 4th of July might be a little bit rainy.
Thank you, Aiden, and thank you everyone for joining us tonight. We are back here tomorrow for another edition of First at 5.
But your North Central Florida news is always on at WUFT.org on all your social media platforms. Have a good night.